Well, here we are. We made it through till November without firing this wood burner up. Last year, we had the outdoor burner fired up in September, and so we burned through a heck of a lot of wood before it was even really super cold. So I learned a little bit this year. Trying to preserve a little bit more wood this year for the real colder months. And what we've been doing is we have a real small home. That's one of the things we downgraded to a much smaller house. We moved out onto a lot more property, and you know, it's a lot easier to heat and cool this thing. It's a lot cheaper. So we have 2 electric heaters. And a third one that we were using a little bit on the real cold days that we run, and we just let them set at about 68, maybe 70, 72 if it's feeling a little chilly in a certain room. But that allows us to kind of heat the rooms that we're in more, and the rooms that we're not in, we turn it down. So we turn it down when we're gone and that kind of thing, and the electric heaters got us through all the way till November this year. Now it has been more of a warmer year this year in Michigan, so that's helped us out as well. But we're a couple weeks in November here, and we're ready to get this wood burner fired up. So I've gone ahead and got it all cleaned out. I took all the ashes and creosote and stuff like that out from last year, got it all cleaned out, and I'm ready to get things fired up here. So I've already topped off the water in it. If you want more information on how this whole system works and how it heats our house, I have a video tour I did on the unit, how it works, that I go through the whole thing. But I've already topped up the water. There's a big water tank up here, and that's all full and ready to go. So I'm going to get our circulation pump going here to make sure that's working. We'll test out our blowers, and then we'll go ahead and get this thing fired up and start heating the house. So all we have in here really is a circulation pump. Circulation pump just runs all the time. It's pretty low wattage, circulating water into the indoor coil in the furnace, as well as the water heater. And so we'll go ahead and get this plugged in, just make sure we can hear it circulating water, make sure that's working properly, and then we'll test out our blower and make sure that's working here as well. Okay, pump seems to be working just fine. So let's go ahead and get the blower flipped on here. So the blower actually blows up just through these 2 slots. There's one there and one here. That fuels the fire, and it drafts in the back. It actually, the way the pipe is kind of down lower there, it creates a secondary burn at the top of this, so that's where all your gases get burned. And there's a lot of different ways to load this. You can load it with larger logs at the bottom, leave an air gap at the top that's supposed to help with that secondary burning. I tend to load it pretty full overnight, and that seems to work just fine too. But the blower only comes on when this thing is calling for heat. So if it's dropped below the set temperature, if the water temperature drops below 175 degrees, I think I have it set at, then the blower kicks on and heats the water back up again. There's something awesome about getting this thing fired up. I don't know why, it just brings back memories of last year, I guess. I had a lot of a struggle keeping the house warm and finding enough wood last year. This year I think I'm much more prepared, and I think it's going to be much more of a kind of relaxed experience. I'll come out and just feed this thing a couple times a day. I've got some more wood to collect, but I'm not going to be in such a big rush, and things will be a lot nicer. So, but man, what a nice thing, just the smell of the smoke and the fire. It's nice to get this thing going again, so I'm excited for the winter. Well, all we got to do now is just kind of wait for it to heat up, so we'll keep an eye on that thermometer back there, and we'll see once it gets up to temperature, if it shuts down properly. We'll check our water temperatures inside and fire up the furnace and see if we can get some heat. Once this thing gets burning, heats up in there, it burns really efficiently. It can't even barely see any emissions at all coming out of it. So very clean burning. Even though this is a less efficient model, it burns pretty well. All right, so I'm going to be using this alternative heating boiler treatment, A200 it's called. This actually, I ordered it on Amazon, so I will put a link in the description for this, so you can check it out if you're setting your boiler up for the year. I do recommend running something like this in there. It does improve the efficiency. It cleans off all the fins and surfaces on the heat exchangers on the inside, so for the water heater and for the furnace, and keeps those surfaces clean, which is going to improve the heat transfer from the water to the air. So I do recommend running something like this. It also helps it keep it, the water kind of fresh and clean as well. So I'm just going to be putting 1 quart in here. This is a little over 200 gallons, but I'm okay. I've got another treatment I'll put in about halfway through the season to kind of up the levels a little bit. So we'll start with this and get it poured in here. This I can just add directly to the water here. Nice hot air. Perfect. All right, the inside mess. I can't wait to redo this whole thing here, but this basically diverter right here we've got closed. This would divert it away from the heater. This is the heat exchanger that goes in the ductwork, so the air blows through there and out into the house. You can turn this on and close this, and this will just heat the water. So if we just wanted to just run it for hot water, that would do that. But right now we're going to do both, and we've got the furnace on and running, and we've got nice warm air coming out. So these 2 bins just kind of sit right around the corner from our door. I've talked about this before. We always keep a compost can here real close to the door, so I can just walk outside and dump our compost bowl out into that. And then this one here we use for wood burning stuff. So anything that we can burn, we just throw in there, and when that gets full, I wheel it out to the wood burner, and we use all that to help fuel the fire to heat our home. Well, we're ready for our second season of the outdoor wood burner here on the SSL family farm. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have a much better start with wood this year than I did last year, and lots of dead trees and stuff around here ready to be collected. So it should be a good, easy season. I'm hoping. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to jinx myself, but things have been going pretty well. The boiler's running great. And so there are a lot of efficiency things that I talked about in a previous video that I still have to redo with this boiler. I'm going to do a whole revamp on it. It's a costly thing. It's probably going to cost me about $1,500 to $2,000 to really revamp the system and make it even more efficient. And so I'm waiting to gather those funds together, and we'll get this thing done, and I'll take you guys along for that renovation also. I'm going to redo the water lines to the house and move our furnace and water heater into a more efficient location in the house, and so there'll be a lot of videos to go together with all that stuff, plumbing and heating and all those things. So always glad to have you guys tag along. Throw some comments down below. What do you guys think? Is this year going to be a smooth season? I hope so. I really do. So I don't know, what do you guys think of the outdoor wood burner? I know a lot of people love them, a lot of people hate them. People think they're inefficient. There's lots of pros and cons, I guess, either way, having an indoor wood stove versus the wood boiler. So what do you guys think? I'd love to hear down below. Hit thumbs up on the video. As always, guys, makes a huge difference on each video, so always appreciate that. Subscribe if you want to follow along. I'll have lots of wood cutting and wood burning type things coming up throughout the winter time here, so I'd love to have you guys tag along for that. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.